Alright, so hello and welcome to this neighborhood tour slash update video. I believe this is going to be the third one so far. I figured it was about time to do one of these videos because it's been quite a while since the last time I've uploaded something. And I don't want to keep you guys hanging, I don't like to be kind of left in the ether, so to speak, when it comes to things I'm interested in, and I'm sure at least a few of you guys feel the same way. So just gonna show you around this neighborhood a bit, which is in one of my other kind of cities within this world, and talk a bit about what's going on, what's going to be going on possibly, and stuff like that. So first off, where have I been lately? Pretty much the same place I've always been. I've just been rather busy with college now, which has kind of taken the place of work as the main thing that's sucking up my free time. It's that, and what I had mentioned before with my family being home most of the day, and that being a less than, I don't know what exactly would be the right word, but less than good environment to record in, because people are talking, people are doing stuff, and it's not exactly easy to get a couple minutes of just plain old peace and quiet to put one of these up. Plus, I've just been feeling, a little bit, I don't know if apathetic or indifferent is the right word, but just kind of like, not really feeling it. You gotta be in kind of a certain mood to record videos, I've found, and, not just to record them, obviously, but to edit, create the thumbnails, and, with that, have the commentary be somewhat coherent. I mean, obviously, I'm usually just spouting nonsense anyway, so it's a bit of a moot point, but, for the commentary to be half decent, for the content itself to be decent and that sort of thing. You have to be really in the right mood for it, is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes I'm just not in the mood, and of course it so often coincides with those few times that I have to record. It's just like, I don't really feel like it. I think I'm going to do this or that instead, and it's like, I know it kind of sucks to kind of constrict the recording of videos like that, but at the same time, I don't really want to force it. I don't really want this to become a chore that I have to do because I have the time to do it right now. I think that's a pretty fair point. I mean, I don't know, everybody has their different standards and different things going on, but that's just my sort of take on it. I'm sure a lot of more popular YouTubers, even the people that, get paid to do this, literally, probably feel the same way. So basically, it's a combination of being busy with college, being, living at home where I do, not really getting quite as much peace and quiet when exactly I could most use it, and just not really feeling like recording a lot of the time. So I guess those are the big 3-4 reasons for the lack of uploads lately. Hopefully I can get back to, not churning things out per se, but getting a little bit more up per week and just more content in general. But ultimately, only time will tell. What we can do is pretty much just hope for the best. And yeah, so this house I'm taking a look at now is just another little ranch house. As you've probably noticed, that's kind of the running theme with this neighborhood, and that's what I wanted to do with it. I think it's a pretty cute little neighborhood. Still not sure what exactly to do at the end of the street there, but we'll figure that out eventually. So, yeah, alright. So, first point, which is the lack of uploads, I think more or less that has been covered. What else? I guess there's progress that's been made on my builds, my cities and stuff. I think, it feels like I haven't done a whole lot, and by my standards, I don't really think I have, but All the same, I think I've also, I've expanded a bit on the map. I've included some new areas. There's more stuff that's sort of kind of roughed out than before. I have more general ideas of where I want this or that to go and that sort of thing. So I think the map is, I want to say it's coming along decently, but at the same time, it feels like progress is a lot slower than it should be or than I want it to be. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's kind of natural to feel that way from what I understand. A lot of people think that same sort of thing, where it's like, oh, this isn't going as quickly as I'd wanted it to, or blah, blah, blah. And that's, I mean, it makes sense. It's hard not to feel that way sometimes, but even from the perspective of knowing that, oh, things probably are going just fine, and that I'm probably just being a bit too paranoid, I guess, about it. It's still hard not to feel that way, basically. And, yeah. Not really sure where I was going with that, but point being, there's a couple of new areas in the city. There's a lot of stuff that's still being worked on, as always. Of course, I wish I had a little bit more free time to put a little bit more effort towards this or that. And I mean, really, who doesn't wish that, I think pretty much everyone feels that way to some extent or another, except the people who, aren't in school, don't work, and pretty much just stay at home all day, every day. I mean, those people are lucky and unlucky in their own sort of way, but I won't go into that. That's pretty irrelevant. But I will say I do kind of wish I had infinite free time like those people do, but I digress. So, this is another little ranch house. If you've noticed, these are a lot bigger than the ranch houses that I've been showing in my Let's Builds and stuff, and I kind of wanted to go for not like a mansion per se feel to this neighborhood, but just sort of an impression that it was, just a small cut above the rest, a little bit more wealthy. Well, at one point, I guess, is what I also wanted to imply, like with this house that has the bars on all the windows, this house that's really kind of scrubby and run down looking. That's something that I kind of want to convey in some of my builds, is a sense of has been, I guess, is that they were really nice once upon a time, not so nice today, and that's kind of a theme you see in a lot of towns, cities, neighborhoods, and whatnot across the country. Just with the economic decline, blah, 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 but that's some socioeconomic stuff that I don't really care too much about. Also, you'll notice this is the little Rambler that I featured in one or another of my house walkthroughs. I really like this house, very Spanish colonial, my favorite architectural style. And this house was also in a Let's Build. You guys probably remember that. I like the way it looks. Long and low, very big, very 50s, 60s ranch. I like it. So anyways, back to the point of this video. What have I covered? I have covered the reason for the relative lack of uploads, and that's one of the biggest things that I wanted to go over. I also mentioned progress with the city. Oh, I guess it also bears mentioning that I am still intending on releasing an updated download version at some point or another. It's just, of course, like with everything else, kind of a matter of finding the time to do that, but it's definitely something I mean to do. There's been quite a lot added to this world, as you can probably see, since the last version was put up. Aside from the Let's Build house and the little ranch house across the way there, I don't think you guys have really seen a whole lot of this part of town. I know I've posted pictures of it on my Tumblr page, but it's not really received a whole lot of exposure just because it's a fairly new area and still fairly a work in progress, so probably expect to see more of this as time goes on. But for now, it's just kind of not under wraps per se, but a lot of stuff is just really incomplete, not especially worth showing. But I guess that's kind of a running theme with my videos. There's always a lot of stuff going on in the background or in the distance that, may or may not ever end up being on a video or in a screenshot or what have you. But yeah, so what have I been babbling about for the last 5 minutes? I guess that's just more about city progression and the download length. So yeah, I don't have a timetable on that. I would like to say sooner rather than later, but of course those are very subjective terms that I unconsciously like to kind of stretch and skew to mean some point along the continuum of time and not, any specific day or specific month, but it is definitely something that I plan on doing sooner or later when I can get the time and when I feel like putting that together, because it's not a lot of work per se, but of course, you have to put everything into the zip file, delete all of the user files. Of course, there's other stuff to it, but it's work. It's work, and it's kind of a pain to do sometimes. But it's definitely something that I intend on doing at some point along the lines. And of course, by that point, there will be even more stuff added for you guys to explore and enjoy. So that'll be good. And speaking of, I do have good news regarding the Rose Square Mall. For quite a while, I really didn't do anything with that, but I just randomly got inspiration the other day and spent about, 2-3 hours just plugging away, trying out a couple of new things, and it's still pretty far from complete, but there's been more added to it, and I think it's looking a little bit better than it did before, so of course that's always good. I'm sure I will show that in a video at some point in time, someday in the future. So that's another thing to look forward to, but don't exactly hold your breath for any of that really, because the schedule, if you could even call it that I'm on is very flexible at best and wishy-washy and virtually non-existent at worst. So I guess it's just, I've probably said this before, but you can kind of know what's coming, you can kind of anticipate it, but don't get too hyped, because I don't want, well, I know how it feels to be really waiting for something, really anticipating it, and then it ends up being, a no-show or whatever, and it's just like, come on, come on. So, but yeah, point being, which is like the fourth time I've said point being in this video, but the point is that there's more stuff coming down the pipeline. I just don't know when exactly it will and how exactly it will end up being. If it'll be a 15-minute, full walkthrough or a 5-minute thing, or even just incorporate it into one of these little neighborhood tours. I don't know. And of course, as I said, I don't know when as well, so the when and the how are less than set in stone, so as I've said, you can look forward to these things, I guess, but don't especially get your hopes up for them, because it's anybody's guess when they will actually come around. So that's I guess the third and final major point. Number one, reasons for the lack of uploads, which are college and other things occupying my time. Number two, progression of the city, which is fair, I think. It's not quite as fast or as I guess I'm not covering quite as much ground as I would hope to, but that's just, that's can't really be helped, I guess. So that's number two, city progression. And number three, downloads and other stuff in the future, which is basically, I haven't forgot about it. It will be coming at some point along the lines, but I just have, as I said, other things that are kind of eating up my free time and getting in the way of stuff like that. So yeah, I guess those are the three biggest points I wanted to cover in this update video. And yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this little neighborhood here, because more or less it's probably one of the most complete in the city as a whole, and I think it's probably one of the best looking in the city by relative standards. I especially like this house here with the big yard and the mowed lines. That looks really nice. So yeah, on that note, I guess we will finish this video off taking a look at this lovely little ranch house. And I suppose that's about it. So as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like or a comment or subscribe or whatnot if you have not already. If you didn't enjoy the video, then hey, that's fine too. I totally understand that. But if that's the case, then please tell me what you didn't like, and hopefully I can try and improve. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.